is that being uploaded to Innovate, all these new buys, which is really hard to keep track of. But there are, in the last 2 months, there's been quite a bit of new customers. So I just want to know, is it getting uploaded to Innovate? Is that something Clint can do? I don't care who does it. I just want to know, like Applegate, James Applegate. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Not currently at this point, because that's one layer in Innovate that they've always planned to do, which was to tie our billing software in with Innovate. So that is the ultimate goal. It's not super critical at this moment, but definitely on the list of things that we want Innovate to be able to do. So,
Yeah, I think that should maybe be on an action item list, added, only because we spend so much money for Innovate, and I'd like to see when, when James Applegate comes in here and says, oh, so I'm the new owner, it goes right up to on Innovate somehow.
Yeah,
so that really needs to be done, since all these turnovers. Okay.
We should definitely be putting some of that money aside for the next fiscal year budget to get Innovate, keep us.
It has to be done, or
Because
it's.
see, right now, Cheryl, it really doesn't service us a lot just to go do that on Innovate, because we have to do it on our billing
Yeah.
software.
You do.
Our regular software. And so the ideal thing is to get them talking to each other, and then we'll have a system,
Right.
That's always been the plan. It's just that
Yeah.
right now we're just being so mindful of the budget.
Right, but it
that's
does.
definitely still on the list and
Oh,
not
yeah.
going to fall by the wayside.
Right, that's all, I guess my point was,
Yeah.
don't fall
No,
by the wayside.
Definitely
Yeah.
won't. That will not be falling by the wayside.
And the last thing is executive session, because you announced it at the last meeting, you went into executive session. Who called for that Caitlin to be at the executive session, may I ask? Who made
For this one tomorrow?
the one last time I was here, we had a meeting and we had to step outside? Who called for that to be an executive session?
I think Caitlin did. I can't hear.
Not-
I think it was Caitlin because
Yeah.
I know that she was talking with a lot of the board and she says, okay, we need to address this
Okay, so
situation.
Caitlin
it was
called for that
Caitlin.
executive session.
Yeah,
Okay.
and she did for the one tomorrow too.
Oh, she called for the one tomorrow. Okay, just making sure who's calling for these, since it's can get spendy.
Yep.
Yeah, it
Oh,
is.
okay,
And
that's,
that's why we, just so you'll know, it's for somehow, and I don't really know how that happened, is she was scheduled to drive out here and be here, which would be more money, and I called her this morning and said, no, I don't want that to happen, so we
Let's
were
just
just
meet on
gonna
the
be
phone.
here, she's gonna be on the phone.
well, the last time she still had to stay online for a operator's report, a treasurer's report, an engineer's report, then you went to
Yeah.
executive.
Yeah.
It would have been easier to go to executive right off the bat. It would have saved,
Yeah.
I just want to be
Yeah,
mind,
that's gonna
I'm trying to
be-
say be mindful of.
No,
Yeah.
and that's gonna be handled
agree.
differently from now on, cause as you can see, she's not here today, because I didn't want.
Right, if there's no need,
Yeah.
why should she, so I'm concerned about her being called to executive sessions, just,
And,
Yeah.
and we've talked about it some too, and should Caitlin have the authority to call a meeting without the board?
Well, I think she definitely should as our attorney, because the things that she's bringing up before us are legal issues that the district needs to address, because there's liability.
Okay.
So you and I sure couldn't tell us what that was, that's why we have her.
And I think her attempt is to kind of stop the use of funds because currently she's getting so many phone calls and emails that she's realizing that there's a problem and she wants to put a stop to it. And so she's like, okay, let's just have a meeting about this, put it out on the table.
I think she's correct.
Save some time.
No, she's doing the right thing.
Squash it.
I don't question her
Yeah.
doing the right thing. I was asking who called for the meeting, that's all. Okay, I do have one other thing. Ted, did you, when Jesse sent the email about the two houses having the one sewer, did you see that email that Jesse sent to Caitlin? Did you see it? Jesse wrote Caitlin, the attorney, about the issue of the two houses being on one sewer. Did you see that email? Ted?
I don't recall it, I don't believe I did.
Sean, did you?
Pardon?
Sean, did you see that email?
I don't, I remember seeing an email, but I think it was after.
I'm just where I'm going down the road is, when Jesse sends emails to Caitlin, they really do need to be BCC, blind copy or whatever, to all the board. Transparency, you guys need to see what Jesse's sending. I'm nothing against Jesse, but she shouldn't be sending emails without the board seeing it. I feel strongly on that one.
And
I've tried to look for this email everywhere when I was talking with Caitlin. She's like, no worry, I have it on my end, so I'm just gonna email her right now and ask her, and I have it up here so people can see. I'm just gonna ask her to forward back that email since she already has it available to her, and ask her to copy us all in on it. So she'll forward out what the
Well,
original was.
make that a practice, because you brought it up when I asked you about the two ones at the last meeting. You said, oh, Jesse, we sent an email. I didn't know you sent an email till you announced it. But I did say to Ally, did you see that email? No, and I'm thinking, well, you need to see it. You know, everybody, the board needs to be aware of emails going to an attorney, or even to DEQ.
I can't remember the specific thing, because it's been quite a while. I would have to go back and look, but if my memory serves me right, I asked Jesse to send
during a meeting.
the email, because way back when we originally talked about it, Caitlin, we talked and said, okay, our desire is to send those people a letter telling them this is the policy and we intend to enforce it. But Caitlin needed to look at something, probably the ordinance or the situation, and then it was like a couple months later, and we said, hey, whatever happened to that? And I said, did you ever get a letter from Caitlin? And she said, no. So I said, please ask her to do that. I asked you to contact her.
And I don't even think I had text or anything in it. It was during a meeting. Caitlin was on a Zoom meeting with us, and we were discussing the issue, and we sent the email or the letter. So I scanned in the letter that the customer said, and I sent that to her just for review. So I don't even think there was any conversation for me.
Well,
It was just simply
I'm not
passing around
questioning
information before
I'm not questioning sending the letter. I agree you should send the letter asking Caitlin on that. I just want Ted and Sean and Ally to have seen a copy of the letter. That's what I'm talking about.
I do
I
recall,
saw a copy of the
you know,
letter back when it was
some
discussed.
type of correspondence on two places hooked up to the same sewer.
Yeah, when we discussed it a couple of meetings ago, yeah, everyone in their board meeting packet material, so it's somewhere in the
That's what
emails
I'm
was given,
Yeah.
everyone the same thing, yeah.
And I
And
wanna
everyone was
Say something
given the
else
information.
though about that, is we have to be careful doing those type of things, Cheryl, because if it is something that we are later going to use as a discussion item and make a decision in this board, they can't be distributed to all of us. That's against the open meeting law. So Jessie has to be careful about what she does. And I know it's very frustrating to be a board member because of all of this stuff. You have to do this, but you can't do this, and you have to consider this. But if it's something that we're later gonna use, then it's not supposed to be sent to all of us.
Because we're supposed to see the case and make the decision as a board.
Get the information, discuss it as a board, instead of sending it around to each other in emails and you commenting something and me commenting, that can't happen. So that's why it's.
I'm not looking for the people to comment. It's about Jesse sending an email to the attorney and BCC everybody, so they see that she sent, what she wrote the attorney. Or if she gets a
Yeah.
letter from Caitlin,
And again,
same thing.
I actually don't even have communication with Caitlin, other than her sending me an invoice or me sending her things that the board requests. I don't have dialogue between her and I. The only dialogue I would have is, hey, here's the CIA document, the
Right.
construction improvement agreement document, here's this. And then I'm copied between calling her, hey, make this update, make that change.
Yeah, I
But
just wanna
don't
make
have
sure
any emails
The
to
board,
attorney.
it doesn't have to be just Caitlin, it could be Katie at DEQ. If she writes you an email, it should go to everyone to read. That's all I'm saying, not just you and Colleen, it should go to Ted and Sean also. I'm just bringing that up as a transparency thing. and
Okay.
keeping everybody in the loop.
Again, there's times we can do it,
Okay.
times we can't.
Okay,
But I understand.
thank you for listening.
All right, Bob,